Chapter 1171, Wind Thunder Roar. Chapter 1171, Wind Thunder Roar. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Thankfully, Bai Zhu Wei was no longer as stifled as before. He chased Immortal Wang all over the place. Immortal Wang turned into a falling star hound. He was fast as he ran, shouting, "Why are you only chasing me? I did not even get a single eagle nest, it was all Lu Guan Yi. Are you blind? Do you have a brain? You will all die, you will all die." Bai Zhu Wei was beyond angry. He could not find Fang Yuan's true body, he could only take it out in Immortal Wang. Immortal Wang was strong, but he did not dare to make a killing move against Bai Zhu Wei, so he could only run away. Thanks to him drawing Bai Zhu Wei's attention, Fang Yuan successfully obtained another eagle nest. Ah! Bai Zhu Wei charged towards him, but Fang Yuan smiled, using the same move to hide among the myriad self-army. Bai Zhu Wei roared loudly, he was extremely angry, countless golden needles rained down like a storm, pouring. Countless myriad self-phantoms were destroyed, but Fang Yuan used it again, replenishing the phantoms. This tactic was too shameless, Bai Zhu Wei was breathing roughly from anger. At this time, Bai Zhu tribe's other Gu immortals arrived. "Ah, where are our eagle nests? Lord Wei, are you alright? Scoundrel! Return out eagle nests." Bai Zhu tribe's Gu immortals were furious. They were currently experiencing He tribe's Gu immortals' feelings when their headquarters were attacked and taken over, the rage and helplessness they felt. At the same time, Li Xichun arrived too. Hearing the screams of Bai Zhu tribe's Gu immortals, he easily understood what was going on. He looked at the falling star hound that Immortal Wang had turned into, saying enviously, "Immortal Wang, you truly made great gains." The falling star hound who was full of injuries heard this and burst out angrily, speaking human language, "Woof! What damn gains, I did not get a single thing." Li Xichun rolled his eyes, pointing at the falling star hound, "Sigh, who are you kidding? Look at how petty you are, I am not after your gains." Immortal Wang was almost jumping from rage, "Woof! So be it if you do not believe me, all the good stuff has been taken by that crafty Lu Guan Yi." Li Xichun was stunned. Before looking at the army of myriad self-phantoms, his eyes shined. "To think that darling Lu has such amazing methods, I am truly seeing him in a different light." As he said that, something happened over there with Bai Zhu tribe's immortals. Green light burst into the sky, a huge green giant formed, its imposing aura enveloped the entire battlefield. "None of you will escape." The green giant shouted, it was loud as thunder, echoing in Iron Eagle-blessed land. Immortal Wang, who had become a falling star hound, saw this and ran rapidly with all four legs. Li Xichun screamed, "Oh mother! Ancient battle formation, Green City rampage." Before finishing his words, he turned around and ran. Ancient battle formation Green City rampage, it was an amazing method that could rival rank 8 Gu immortals. After Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu recruited the 4 supreme elders of He tribe, he obtained it and gave it to Bai Zhu tribe's Gu immortals to learn it. This time, the Bai Zhu Gu immortals were using this formation for the first time in battle. Boom! The green giant clapped. Golden light shone, instantly destroying all of the myriad self-phantoms in the battlefield. Fang Yuan's true body was hiding in an eagle nest, he had transformed into a small eagle, his heartbeat was accelerating. As expected of Green City Rampage, my myriad self-phantoms were instantly destroyed, yet the 3 eagle nests were unharmed. By gathering everyone's strength, the attacks of the Bai Zhu tribe immortals became much stronger, and their manipulation also became more precise. It is a pity, they are still unable to find me. Familiar face was this useful. Without luck inspection or similarly special methods, it was almost unstoppable. The green giant's eyes burst out with golden light, the Bai Zhu Gu immortals activated all sorts of investigative killer moves, but they could not find Fang Yuan. Bai Zhu Wei snorted coldly, suddenly moving the giant's hand, grabbing an eagle nest and putting it into his immortal aperture. He became smarter. Fang Yuan sighed, activating Myriad Self as he moved his real body. He could not enter Bai Zhu Wei's immortal aperture along with the eagle nest. Even though that was Bai Zhu Wei's greatest weakness, Fang Yuan did not have methods to break out of the immortal aperture. He was likely to be stuck inside. For just 3 eagle nests, it was not worth the risk. He had already taken more than 80 eagle nests. He is here indeed. Die! The green giant screamed, golden light flashed as the Myriad Self army was decimated, only Fang Yuan was left. Next, the green giant waved its hand as a dark green wind blade was formed. The wind blade slashed at Fang Yuan with incredible speed. Fang Yuan used Myriad Self again, hiding among the phantoms. But the wind blade turned into numerous blades, slashing their respective targets. Fang Yuan spat out a mouthful of blood. His time path defensive killer move was instantly broken, his ribcage had multiple fractures, his spine was nearly snapped, he had suffered a huge blow. This was the terrifying battle strength that matched rank 8 existences. The wind blade had already split into countless ones, Fang Yuan was only hit by one of them. He wanted to dodge, but after the wind blade split up, its speed rose tremendously, he could not evade it. Man as before. At the next moment, Fang Yuan healed completely. The green giant was very confident in this move, seeing that Fang Yuan was unharmed, it was enraged, charging towards him angrily. Fang Yuan sped away as he flew. He decided on a direction and flew towards Immortal Wang. Immortal Wang saw that Fang Yuan was luring Green City Rampage over, he was so shocked he barked non-stop, his 4 dog legs moved like a windmill, desperately running for his life. Fang Yuan quickly got closer to him. Green City Rampage was chasing him relentlessly. Woof! Don't come here. Woof! Lu Guanyi, you took all the benefits, and you still want to drag me down with you. You are too ruthless. Woof! Let me off, we are friends of domination immortal. Fang Yuan had a cold expression, he ignored these words, he was bent on making Immortal Wang his cannon fodder. There was no choice, Green City Rampage's speed was faster than Sword Escape Immortal Gu. Without cannon fodder, Fang Yuan could not outspeed Green City Rampage. Immortal Wang saw that Fang Yuan had run ahead of him, while Green City Rampage was right behind. At this moment, he was filled with intense rage and killing intent. He had mixed in Northern Plains Gu immortal world for so many years, he had never suffered like today before. This Lu Guanyi, this pretty boy. He did not give a good impression at first glance, and after attacking Iron Eagle Blessed Land, he earned the most. Immortal Wang did not even get a single eagle nest. The important thing was, he was trying to use him as a sacrificial lamb now. Immortal Wang almost attacked Fang Yuan. But he restrained this urge. The reason was obvious, before this battle, they had gathered into a temporary alliance, they were restrained by Dao marks. If he attacked an ally, he would face a terrifying backlash. This was necessary. Because Fang Yuan, Li Sichun and the rest were not close, when they worked together, they needed an alliance agreement, that was the basis of trust. And the one who created the alliance agreement was a Gu immortal in Chu's sect that Chu Du had chosen. At least you are still smart. Fang Yuan smiled coldly, he was a vigilant person, he naturally was on guard against Immortal Wang's attacks. Sword Escape Immortal Gu continued to fly, his green grape immortal essence was expended drastically, Fang Yuan flew faster and shrugged off Immortal Wang. But he could not break away from the green giant. This was the ancient battle formation Green City Rampage, ranked 3rd in the past. It was only weaker than Heavenly Giant Solar and Golden Heavenly Saint. If he did not scheme, Fang Yuan would be caught by the green giant eventually. Doing something like this which harmed an ally also caused him to suffer some backlash. But the extent of it was mild, because Fang Yuan did not attack his ally. Immortal Wang was anxious, his dog fur was standing up, he could feel intense killing intent from Green City Rampage. Quickly save me. Immortal Wang shouted, feeling despair. Don't worry Brother Wang, we are here to help you. Far away, Haozhen shouted. Beside him, there was a Gu immortal, it was Chou Lao Wu. Immortal Wang heard his words and was overjoyed, quickly shouting, if I am saved, I will definitely thank you guys. Haozhen nodded, speaking to Chou Lao Wu softly, Brother Chou, let's start. Alright. Chou Lao Wu burst out with an intense aura that shot up into the sky, a large amount of his red date immortal essence was expended at once. Around his entire body, a dark green wind was enveloping it, forming a gigantic ball of compressed winds. Wind, Chou Lao Wu growled. Thunder. Next, Haozhen cried out at the sky. His muscular body was upright like a spear, he was floating in the air, countless lightning sparks were flickering, turning the area of 100 steps around him into a plasma pool. Next, Chou Lao Wu and Haozhen opened their mouths, bellowing loudly towards the green giant which was still far away. Roar. Double immortal killer move, wind thunder roar. First, the dark green wind ball flew out, forming into a horizontal tornado. It was like a world-destroying serpent, moving forward with destructive force. Next, the lightning plasma shot towards it, fusing with the tornado in an instant, forming a thick wind and lightning pillar. The pillar moved extremely quickly, it shot out and flew several meters above the ground. Along the way, intense air currents were formed, digging huge trenches along the grassland on the ground. 2 breaths of time later, the wind and lightning pillar crashed into the green giant's chest with an unstoppable force. Peak rank 7 battle strength. The green giant stood on the ground and braced itself, raising its arms in defense. After several breaths of time, the attack dissipated, while the giant was still standing. If I were to be hit by wind thunder roar, I would die for sure. Worthy of Green City Rampage. Fang Yuan flew as he watched the battle of 2 sides. Immortal Wang was still running without even looking back, he was afraid that any pause would cause him to die there. No wonder it can rival rank 8 Gu immortals, let's run. Haozhen had a pale expression, the use of wind thunder roar was extremely taxing on him. Chou Lao Wu was not feeling good either, the two quickly retreated. The green giant almost perfectly blocked wind thunder roar, but unexpectedly, it stopped moving after the attack, staying completely still. Something strange. During this period, most of the battling Gu immortals had fled a huge distance. At the next moment, they saw that the green giant broke apart all of a sudden. Baizu tribe's Gu immortals were all spitting out blood, they fell towards the ground. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1172, Unresolvable. Chapter 1172, Unresolvable. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. The ancient battle formation was broken, Baizu tribe's Gu immortals suffered a huge backlash. Lord Wei. Someone cried out. Baizu Wei was the key person controlling the formation. After the ancient battle formation was broken, he suffered the biggest damage, he actually died on the spot. Baizu Wei was the number 1 person below Heavenly Lord Baizu, the core of Baizu tribe's Gu immortals. To think that after Baizu tribe was created, when he was about to reach the prime of his life, he died in their base camp. This shocking change not only made the Baizu tribe Gu immortals feel deep sadness, Fang Yuan and the rest who invaded Iron Eagle blessed land also turned solemn. A member of Baizu tribe died. The enmity was huge now. Fang Yuan had a heavy mood. Li Si Chun, with his flowery appearance, had a pale expression as he asked, What do we do? Haozhen and Chou Lao Wu had even worse expressions. How could this happen? Green City Rampage can rival rank 8's, our wind thunder roar cannot cause such harm to him. Chou Lao Wu could not believe this. They were not familiar enough with the formation. Fang Yuan had a realization in his mind. The ancient battle formation Green City Rampage was powerful, but it was not so easy to use successfully. The 4 top supreme elders of He tribe could use it well, that was because they had spent a huge amount of time practicing it. But the Baizu tribe Gu immortals had only practiced Green City Rampage for a short period of time. And now was their first true battle in using it. It was understandable that they had made some errors. The matter is huge now, let's all discuss. What do we do now? The immortals left the battlefield as Hao Zhen called out. Humph, you two are the ones who killed him, what does it have to do with me? Fang Yuan sneered, flying away. You! Hao Zhen was furious. Chou Lao Wu quickly said, Lu Guan Yi, we are all in the same boat, do you think the Heavenly Lord will let you off in his rage? But Fang Yuan ignored him, he continued to retreat, quickly entering the clouds, vanishing from everyone's vision. The other immortals were still flying, but they were silent and uncertain. Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu felt panicked and flustered. Chou Lao Wu tried to calm himself down, he broke the silence, Lu Guan Yi is such a scoundrel. Before he finished his words, Immortal Wang interrupted, I am heavily injured, I need to seek treatment, I will take my leave first. He turned into a falling star hound and changed directions, running away. Li Si Chun saw this and thought quickly, smiling, I am skilled at healing techniques, wait for me Immortal Wang, I'll help you. Saying this, he followed behind Immortal Wang, swiftly leaving the place. Chou Lao Wu looked at this in disbelief, he stared with wide-opened eyes, cursing, this dog shit Wang, he is so shameless. To think we saved him. If we'd known this in advance, why would we even help? Chou Lao Wu looked at Hao Zhen, all of the negative emotions inside him were alleviated by a bit. After all, he was not alone. Other than him, Hao Zhen had also attacked. Chou Lao Wu and Hao Zhen had a good relationship, this was rare among demonic path Gu immortals. Once this happened, these two unlucky brothers' relationship would grow closer. But this did not help matters. The two looked at each other, Hao Zhen had a stiff expression, he said in a heavy tone, since this has happened already, there is nothing we can do. Now, we can only rely on Chu Du. Chou Lao Wu's eyes were shining, he was like a drowning person who saw a floating log, that's right, you are right. We were invited by Chu Du to help him, he cannot abandon us. Let's go find him. Fang Yuan did not stick around, he immediately returned to Langya Blessed Land. The situation is a little complex now. He frowned slightly, analyzing the situation. Originally, this attack on Iron Eagle Blessed Land was rather successful. Fang Yuan and the others attacked Iron Eagle Blessed Land, they destroyed and took away a lot of resources, it was a huge blow to Baizu tribe. If that was all that happened, Heavenly Lord Baizu would have to retreat, to defend his base. He had created a super force after so much work, he had squeezed into the cracks between the Huang Jin tribes, obtaining his own territory. This expended so much of his time and effort, he had even paid a huge price. If he continued to attack Heifan Grotto Heaven relentlessly, allowing Fang Yuan and the others to continue attacking them, the situation would become very unstable. Baizu tribe's reputation would be completely ruined before it was even established. Other forces and Gu immortals would gather like hungry wolves, targeting Baizu tribe like how they attacked He tribe. Once such a situation occurs, even Heavenly Lord Baizu would feel very troubled. Because he was not the only rank 8 in Northern Plains Gu immortal world. In order to defend his hard work, Heavenly Lord Baizu had to either take down Heifan Grotto Heaven quickly, or wisely give up on it and return to stabilize the situation, and fortify his base. Attacking Heifan Grotto Heaven quickly was not feasible for Heavenly Lord Baizu. If he could, he would have already won by now. Chu Du had noticed Heavenly Lord Baizu's greatest weakness, thus, his tactic aimed at his weakness, it was truly brilliant and impressive. But unfortunately, how could simply a person's strategy completely determine the outcome? At the crucial moment, an unexpected mishap occurred, a rank 7 Gu immortal from Baizu tribe died. Fang Yuan naturally knew that Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu acted to save Immortal Wang because they were after the reward. After they help Immortal Wang break free from Green City Rampage, how could Immortal Wang not thank them heavily with compensation? The two of them were the last to enter Iron Eagle Blessed Land, their games were unable to satisfy their appetite. This is why they wanted to earn a fortune from Immortal Wang. It was a pity, they overestimated the Daoist Gu immortals, and caused this terrible outcome. Feng Yuan shook his head and sighed. This way, Heavenly Lord Daoist was sure to take revenge. If he did not, his reputation would go down the drain. How could a rank 8 Gu immortal be unable to protect his own people? He might as well go die in that case. This was more unforgivable than having Iron Eagle blessed land be completely destroyed. Forget about managing any super force, Heavenly Lord Daoist would lose all of his reputation. This means that, Chu Du and Heavenly Lord Daoist's conflict is now unresolvable. And I am Chu Du's ally, who had also joined the battle in Iron Eagle blessed land. At this point, Feng Yuan was also dragged into it. Even though his circumstances were better than those of Chou Lao Wu and Hao Zhen. What should I do? Feng Yuan paced around in the secret room, thinking hard. He had the alliance agreement, he had no choice. His desire towards information path inheritances grew even stronger now. He thought about it for a while. There was a solution that was not really a solution. In the worst case, I can only get Chu Du into Xianxia sect. Xianxia sect is already part of the Variant Human Alliance. By then, we can use the immemorial rock dragon against Heavenly Lord Daoist. Thinking about this, Feng Yuan saw hope in getting Chu Du to join Xianxia sect. Originally, Domination Immortal Chu Du had the pride of being a human Gu immortal. How could he lower his head and join a variant human force? Or maybe, Chu Du still has his trump cards. Feng Yuan thought of another possibility. Of course, he also had another solution, that was to leave Northern Plains directly. He had the sovereign immortal body anyway, he was unique, he could survive in any region. He was unlike other Gu immortals. For example, when a Northern Plains Gu immortal leaves Northern Plains, a foreign region's heaven and earth chi would cause their immortal aperture to become unstable, it might even break apart. Trying to undergo tribulation was courting death. If I cannot fight you, I can still escape. Feng Yuan thought. So-called reputation and pride were not obstacles in his way. Of course, unless he had no choice, Feng Yuan would not want to leave Northern Plains. Over here, he could use Xianxia sect's power and live well. If he left, he could not use immortal tribulation tempering aperture. He could also not use Luo Pavali, which had already been sold to Xianxia sect. There were also lots of other problems as well. Southern border. At dawn. Far away, the dawn sky was white like marble white. The fog in the mountains fused with the fragrance of the grass and trees, giving off a cooling feeling. Two figures were descending from the cloud layer. One was rank 7, the other was rank 6, they resembled youngsters. They wore deep green short-sleeve shirts and long black pants, they also had jade leggings. Big brother, they said. Third Supreme Elder went crazy. Do you think it is true? The rank 6 Gu immortal asked. The rank 7 Gu immortal had a grim expression, he sighed and answered, ever since us righteous path forces started the super dream realm exploration, 2 Gu immortals have already fallen unconscious, and 1 Gu immortal's soul was completely destroyed. Third Supreme Elder went crazy. I'm afraid it's true. Ah. The rank 6 Gu immortal gasped, Third Supreme Elder has such high cultivation level, he is a senior among rank 7s, already having gone through 2 grand tribulations, how could he go crazy? The rank 7 Gu immortal shook his head, exploration of the dream realm has nothing to do with cultivation level. Other than bringing back Third Supreme Elder now, we have to take over his role. Little brother, you need to be careful, he is a good example, do not succumb to the dream realm. Don't worry big brother. Even though there is a prophecy on Great Dream Immortal Venerable, I know my limits, how could I court death? The rank 6 Gu immortal had a fearful expression. The two immortals spoke casually, passing by a nameless peak as they continued flying, before vanishing in the sky. They went in. He Lu Lan said. Currently, besides her, there was Ying Wu Xie, Shi Nu, Tai Bai Yunsheng, and Bai Ning Bing. This super Gu formation was set up by Qi Chuyu. He used up a great number of immortal Gu from the southern border righteous path super forces, as well as countless mortal Gu. The defense is really tight. Shi Nu said heavily. With such a powerful defensive Gu formation and a large number of righteous path Gu immortals defending it, with just the power of Xianxia and the others, they could not break through. Xianxia, however, smiled lightly. This Gu formation is not a problem. The dream realm is still expanding. Every once in a while, the formation has to be reset. At that time, the righteous path Gu immortals have no spare energy to care about other things. That is the time to attack. What truly obstructs us is this dream realm. Saying this, he spoke more slowly as he sighed eerily. I have lead soul into dream, but I do not have a method to unravel dreams. Fong Yuan does. He Lu Lan transmitted. Him. Xia's heart shook, his gaze suddenly became very complicated. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1173, Crazed Demon Cave. Chapter 1173, Crazed Demon Cave. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Inside He Fan Grotto Heaven. Tens of thousands of Heavenly Lord Baizu figures floated in the air, looking down towards Chu Du. The expression and attitude of the Heavenly Lord Baizu figures were completely different from before. All of their faces were grim and heavy. Chu Du. Hand over the murderers in He Fan Grotto Heaven, I can spare your life. Tens of thousands of mouths spoke at once, the loud volume reverberated in He Fan Grotto Heaven. Chu Du stood on the ground, raising his head and looking. Compared to the numerous Heavenly Lord Baizu figures in the sky, he was all alone, seemingly lonely and weak. However, his body was upright and straight like a spear, his domineering aura shrouded his body, he could resist Heavenly Lord Baizu's imposing display without wavering. Humph. You are attacking my grotto heaven, and you want me to surrender? So what if that Baizu tribesman died? This is your punishment and a price to pay for attacking me. Chu Du spoke plainly, his voice was echoing in the grotto heaven. The group of Heavenly Lord Baizu figures still wanted to speak, but Chu Du activated his immortal killer move at the next moment. Inner Strength Self-Detonation. The immortal killer move's range covered the entirety of He Fan Grotto Heaven. Inside the Heavenly Lord Baizu bodies, inner strength was appearing out of nowhere. It expanded until it reached its limit. Next, all of the Heavenly Lord Baizu clones self-detonated at the same time. It was an incredible sight. At once, the overwhelming army was completely destroyed by Chu Du in one move. Domination Immortal. Outside the grotto heaven, Heavenly Lord Baizu's true body frowned as he gritted his teeth, fuming with rage. Not long ago, Heavenly Lord Baizu had received a letter from his tribe. He was informed of Baizu Wei's death. Heavenly Lord Baizu was naturally very upset, and also furious. Baizu Wei was nurtured by him single-handedly. He was like a child that he had raised. To think that after building the tribe, and having started building their foundation in Northern Plains, he died, it was truly regretful. Heavenly Lord Baizu quickly noticed that if this matter was not dealt with properly, it would cause a huge crisis. If I do not take down He Fan Grotto Heaven and kill the murderers, my reputation would fall drastically, people would think I am weak, Baizu tribe would be pushed aside. Heavenly Lord Baizu would not allow that to happen. But his earlier call for surrender did not work. Domination Immortal Chu Du. This person is as tough as a rock on the seashore, just waves alone cannot stop him. Then let me show him a tsunami. Heavenly Lord Baizu had a firm expression. Inside He Fan Grotto Heaven. Lord Domination Immortal, it is my, Hao Zhen's, greatest honor to be acquainted with you. Lord Domination Immortal, I, Cho Lao Wu, admires you and solely you alone. Somehow, at some point in time, Hao Zhen and Cho Lao Wu were brought into He Fan Grotto Heaven. They were hidden underground. After Chu Du killed all of Heavenly Lord Baizu's illusory clones, they showed themselves. Originally, they were worried, but Chu Du rejected Heavenly Lord Baizu's offer of surrender with a firm tone. Their doubts were dispelled, they felt deep admiration towards him. You too. Chu Du faced them, having a sincere expression. you both got into trouble because of me. If I submit to the threat of a rank 8 Gu immortal and abandon you, I will be letting down my title as the Domination Immortal. That is definitely not my style and demeanor as Chu Du. Lord Domination Immortal, what do we do now? Cho Lao Wu asked. Chu Du smiled lightly, don't worry, this He Fan Grotto Heaven is not ordinary. Earlier, I alone was able to defend it. With the help of both of you, we have no worries. Cho Lao Wu and Haozhen nodded, but the worry in their faces did not go away. Chu Du continued, of course, simply defending will eventually lead to failure. Right now, we are in a passive situation. I have already sent a letter out, I am inviting friends to fight with Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu once and for all. Haozhen and Cho Lao Wu finally cheered up. The former said, Lord Domination Immortal, you can firmly control the situation, we are at ease. The latter added, fame and reputation attracts people. Relying on He Fan Grotto Heaven to defeat a rank 8 Gu immortal is definitely an incredible achievement. If we use benefits and fame to attract them, Gu immortals will surely come to help us. Saying this, Haozhen and Cho Lao Wu looked at each other, before saying loudly to Chu Du, we are willing to shoulder the cost of inviting help. Domination Immortal laughed, no need for that, this was my problem to begin with, how can I watch without paying a price? Saying this, he held the hands of Haozhen and Cho Lao Wu, saying in a moved tone, fortune and disaster comes together, whether it ends up as fortune or disaster will depend on our hard work. If we can defend the Grotto Heaven, I am willing to give up 60% of the space here to both of you. It was fate that brought us together, from today onwards, I hope that the three of us can go through thick and thin together, regardless of poverty or wealth. A huge amount. Chu Du promised that after success, he would give 60% of He Fan Grotto Heaven to Haozhen and Cho Lao Wu directly. At once, Haozhen and Cho Lao Wu's eyes shined, their hearts were pounding. This was He Fan Grotto Heaven, it had no calamities and tribulations. As long as they defended it, Chu Du would give them 60%, they would get 30% each. This was simply a God-sent fortune. Haozhen's body shook, he had a look of excitement, through thick and thin together, regardless of poverty or wealth. Cho Lao Wu was so moved his eyes were red, meeting Domination Immortal is the greatest blessing in my life. The two of them had no alternatives to begin with. Chu Du not only took them in, he even gave them great benefits, at once, their passions were burning. Bzzz bzzz bzzz. Waves of buzzing noises entered their ears. A change occurred, large numbers of distorted shadows appeared in He Fan Grotto Heaven's sky, some even appeared on the mountains and in water. Next, from these distorted shadows, figures of Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu walked out one by one, there were even desolate beasts, some were ruthless two-legged beasts while others were flying with flapping wings. The three immortals had solemn expressions. Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu was an enslavement path cultivator, he could not enter He Fan Grotto Heaven, but he could send a large number of desolate beasts in. No, not just desolate beasts, even ancient desolate beasts. There were even ancient desolate plants, their roots entered the soil as they changed the terrain into their temporary camps. Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu is finally using his true methods. We have to take action, kill, kill, kill. Chu Du called out loudly, good, both of you, go kill these fierce beasts. I will manage the situation, I will prevent Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu's main body from entering the Grotto Heaven. If Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu's true body came in, they could not compete. There was an enormous difference in strength between rank 7 and 8. The reason why Chu Du could resist Heavenly Lord Bai Zhu was because he was using He Fan Grotto Heaven as a barrier. Langya Blessed Land. Inside the Cloud City's secret room, Fang Yuan was seated as an immortal Gu moved to his side. This immortal Gu, in terms of width and length, was the size of an adult's finger, it was silver and blue in color, shining with bright light. It was like a centipede, but instead of having multiple pairs of legs, it had soft and thin hair instead. This was the rank 7 immortal Gu Sword Eyebrows. At this moment, Fang Yuan was using Sword Eyebrows immortal Gu to increase his sword path Dao marks. The secret room was dark and eerie, but Sword Eyebrow's immortal Gu was shining with silver light. It was flying around Fang Yuan as it drew a beautiful arc of dazzling light in the darkness. A while later, Fang Yuan stopped his cultivation for now. After the fifth earthly calamity, Fang Yuan had been using Sword Eyebrow's immortal Gu to increase his sword path Dao marks. He also had fixed times for cultivation daily, going to Luopa Valley to cultivate his soul. All in all, Sword Eyebrow's immortal Gu was quite useful, but it was a rank 7 immortal Gu, unfortunately. Fang Yuan was only rank 6, using a rank 7 immortal Gu had a huge burden on his green grape immortal essence. Thus, Fang Yuan could not freely use Sword Eyebrow's immortal Gu. It was because his pressure from the calamities had decreased to the extent after the fifth earthly calamity, along with his good financial status in earning immortal essence stones, that he could undergo this cultivation. Oh. Chu Du sent a letter. Fang Yuan had just stored Sword Eyebrow's immortal Gu into his immortal aperture when he felt something. He sensed a letter Gu. Through treasure yellow heaven, Fang Yuan retrieved the letter Gu, his consciousness entered it as his expression changed. Chu Du had told Fang Yuan about the situation inside Heifan Grotto Heaven. He also told Fang Yuan his firm attitude. When Chu Du wrote this letter, Heavenly Lord Baizu had not asked him to surrender yet, and had not sent in his army of beasts, but Chu Du had anticipated it. In the letter, he said, the might of a rank 8 cannot be resisted. Even with the Grotto Heaven's help, the inevitable failure is only delayed. He is quite aware, I see. Fang Yuan praised before continuing to read. Chu Du asked for Fang Yuan's help in inviting reinforcements for him to resist Heavenly Lord Baizu. At the same time, he told Fang Yuan about his following plans. Inviting reinforcements to defend Heifan Grotto Heaven so that Heavenly Lord Baizu could not have any gains was not the important point. The important thing was that other forces and Gu immortals were not happy with Baizu tribe. As long as Heavenly Lord Baizu realized that he could not continue to attack Heifan Grotto Heaven, if he did not return to stabilize the situation, the Baizu tribe that he had worked so hard to create would break apart. That was the only way to get Heavenly Lord Baizu to leave. Lone cultivator Heavenly Lord Baizu did not have this weakness. But after taking over He tribe and creating the Righteous Path super force, Heavenly Lord Baizu had to defend it. Undoubtedly, this plan would work. It was also the only way to deal with Heavenly Lord Baizu. Fang Yuan had thought of it earlier as well. Chu Du's plan and his were the same. Who is Chu Du asking for help? This letter shows much confidence, but he is only asking me to go to Crazed Demon Cave to ask for reinforcements. There must be some capable people. Crazed Demon Cave. One of the 10 great fierce areas in Northern Plains. Who was cultivating in seclusion there, who would make Chu Du think of drawing support from their power? Immediately, Fang Yuan felt a strong sense of curiosity. Because Crazed Demon Cave was different from the other fierce areas. If it were Tai Chiu, even though it was dangerous, it was still possible for people to cultivate there in secret. Langya's sect was already doing that now. But Crazed Demon Cave was created by Limitless Demon Venerable single-handedly. The cave was filled with demonic sounds. Other Gu immortals would go crazy uncontrollably, before losing all their senses. In history, even a rank 8 Gu immortal had lost their reasoning because of it and became a lunatic. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1174, 3 Crazed Demon Eccentrics. Chapter 1174, 3 Crazed Demon Eccentrics. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Of course, since Chu Du was asking Fang Yuan to go and invite people from Crazed Demon Cave, he had also given Fang Yuan some methods to defend against the demonic sounds, and some information regarding the patterns, strengths and weaknesses of these sounds. Regardless, I have to go. Chu Du and Heavenly Lord Baizu were competing over Heifan Grotto Heaven. This originated from Fang Yuan's actions. He had benefits linked with Chu Du. He was also involved with the attack on Iron Eagle Blessed Land. All in all, he was deeply related to the issue. Fang Yuan acted quickly, immediately setting off. Using the Super Gu formation, he teleported out of Langya Blessed Land, heading towards Crazed Demon Cave. There were no issues along the way. More than 10 days later, Fang Yuan stopped in the air, looking down. On the ground of flat yellow soil, there was a huge cave. The surroundings of the cave were a circular shape, spanning hundreds of kilometers. There was a thick rainforest in the cave, having both yellow and green colors. From time to time, desolate beasts growled, large numbers of featherless birds flew out, their red bodies made Fang Yuan think of pterosaurs. It was a scenery of wilderness. Fang Yuan descended, as the cave got bigger in his vision, until it eventually filled it up. As he went down, Fang Yuan was completely shrouded by the rainforest in the cave. Entering the rainforest, the humid and moist air enveloped Fang Yuan. The branches of the trees were thick and large, but sunlight was very intense. Vines were hanging on the tree trunks or intertwining on them. Fang Yuan could not find a place to land at times. Creak creak. Far away, many strange monkeys with gray fur were chasing each other on the trees. Suddenly, a motionless vine moved up, opening its bloodthirsty mouth as it swallowed dozens of gray monkeys into its stomach. In truth, this was a desolate beast tree python that had successfully hunted its prey. The gray monkey group was in a commotion, they called out loudly, their voices attracted the king of the monkeys, it was also a desolate beast. The desolate beast tree python continued to retreat, it was already full, its goal was achieved, it did not want to fight the gray monkey king. The gray monkeys were not insistent on revenge in nature, the monkey king saw that the tree python was leaving and did not chase it, only calling out loudly. But at this time, there was a sound echoing in the place. Oh no, demonic sound. Fang Yuan quickly used his Gu worms, using Chu Du's method to defend against the demonic sound. Ordinary methods could not block demonic sounds. But Chu Du's method worked against it with immediate effect. Fang Yuan felt like the demonic sound was gone, as if it never existed. The vocalizations of the Monkey King and the Tree Python could be heard now. Influenced by the demonic sound, the two desolate beasts which were going to leave suddenly engaged in combat like they had gone crazy. This was not just an intense battle, it was a battle to the death. The two desolate beasts fought to the death, they were entangled, rolling around as many trees were snapped, countless living beings died. The monkeys around them also went crazy, not only did they attack their allies, they even self-mutilated, banging against hard rocks or digging out their own eyes with their fingers. The peaceful rainforest became chaotic, there was roaring everywhere, many life forms went into madness, fighting each other as dust clouds rose, an intense bloody smell was emanating. Fang Yuan maintained his composure and calmness. But the surrounding birds were all attacking him, even the ants and bees nearby were suiciding as they attacked him. This is Crazed Demon Cave. Fang Yuan sighed internally, using Gu worms to defend himself. He was clear-minded, he had many strong methods to survive in this crazy environment, he did not feel much pressure. After all, these crazy life forms were not targeting him alone, they were attacking at will, acting like maniacs. The demonic sound continued for a while before vanishing. The noisy rainforest became silent at once. The wild beasts that were mixing around earlier were corpses now, they had severed limbs and incomplete corpses scattered all over the rainforest. At some places, their blood formed into small rivers, nourishing the ground. Countless snapped trees obtained sufficient nutrients and rapidly grew again. Far away, the two desolate beasts who fought had died. The tree python's thick and long body was coiled around the Monkey King multiple times, while the final loop was around its neck, snapping it completely. But the Monkey King struggled before dying, tearing apart the python's stomach. All of the monkeys that it had eaten were freed, but they were all dead. The tree python was near death, as the demonic sound faded, it regained clarity, before the light in its eyes faded. It lost its life. Fang Yuan had a thought as he rushed to the battlefield, keeping these two dead desolate beasts in his own immortal aperture. If I were you, I would not waste my effort. The life forms in crazed demon cave, be it flying birds or land-based beasts, even goo worms and plants have no value. The corpses of these desolate beasts cannot be sold in treasure yellow heaven, because the Tao marks in their bodies are completely chaotic. A voice could be heard. Who is this? Fong Yuan was shocked. Even though he had been using familiar face, and the time path killer moved 3 breaths future vision, the latter could only let him see events related to himself 3 breaths later. See was not here. 3 breaths future vision had its flaws. Like right now, Fong Yuan could not foresee voices. But soon, Fong Yuan saw the future. A white-robed Gu immortal with a middle-aged appearance came out of nowhere. He was behind and towards Fong Yuan's right, about 10 steps away. Fong Yuan was fully focused, but he was still looking around. 3 breaths of time later, towards his back, at the right, a white-robed Gu immortal appeared in that very spot. This Gu immortal had a pale face and black beard. He had long wide sleeves and eyes that were shining like stars. His disposition was extraordinary. Fong Yuan quickly turned around, looking at this foreign immortal with a nervous expression. The white-robed Gu immortal smiled as he said, "Don't be afraid, friend, I am not immortal." Fong Yuan was exposing rank 6 aura now, but the white-robed Gu immortal was rank 7, his aura was not concealed. What? Fong Yuan was perplexed. My title is, not immortal, I live in crazed demon cave. The Gu worm that you have is the token that us 3 crazed demon eccentrics gave to Chu Du. The white-robed not immortal smiled. Fong Yuan realized, hearing not immortal's words, there were 2 other people in crazed demon cave. He quickly greeted, "Junior greets senior, I came here without an invitation because we need senior's help to assist Lord Domination Immortal." He, us 3 crazed demon eccentrics have lived here for hundreds of years without bothering with the outside world. If Chu Du wants to join us, we will gladly welcome him. But if he wants us to leave crazed demon cave, that is absolutely impossible. Not immortal smiled. Oh. Fong Yuan had an anxious expression, but he felt nothing on the inside. Regardless of whether not immortal was saying this to elevate his own value, just domination immortal Chu Du alone was not someone who toyed around. Chu Du definitely had a close relationship with the 3 immortals here. He had a plan if he asked Fong Yuan to come. Since Chu Du gave you the Gu worm, I suppose he has also given you many methods and the traveling route as well? Not immortal asked. Yes. Fong Yuan nodded. Not immortal assessed Fong Yuan involuntarily. To make Chu Du entrust him like this, what capabilities did this Gu immortal junior have? In that case, follow me. You were quite lucky, I came out here for a breather. Crazed Demon Cave is getting more dangerous in recent years, the routes are changing, follow me, if you take a wrong step, you will face the consequences yourself. Not immortal said as he entered the rainforest. Fong Yuan hesitated, before moving and following him. The 2 entered deep into the rainforest and went into a hole, arriving at the 2nd layer. Crazed Demon Cave had 9 layers, the 2nd layer was an incredibly hot land of burning rocks. A large amount of rocks were piled up together, big and small, the large ones were like huge elephants, the small ones were like pebbles. A moment later, the 2 immortals arrived at the 3rd layer. The 3rd layer was covered in white fog, a large number of fog Gu were living here. Along the way, Fong Yuan saw figures of large fierce beasts moving about in the fog. There was a very large quantity of cloud bamboo. It was this special bamboo, on the same scale as the rainforest in the 1st layer, that created the endless fog here. Next, Fong Yuan saw the image of a city in the fog. A tall city with markets and vendors, countless people were moving about rapidly, but there was no sound, it was a peculiar scene. That is Fog City, the vengeful souls who died gather and form here, there is no point looking at it. Not immortal, who was in front, informed. Fong Yuan was slightly shocked, he knew about Fog City, this was the first time he saw it. Souls that could form Fog City were at least Gu immortals, and a large number at that. With Fong Yuan's current strength, if he entered it, he would definitely die, there was no way to escape. Crazed Demon Cave was one of the 10 great fierce areas in northern plains. It was naturally very dangerous. The 3 crazed demon eccentrics, including Not Immortal, were living here permanently. Their strength was naturally not low. Under Not Immortal's lead, Fang Yuan entered deep into the cave without much danger. He got to the 6th layer. Even we do not dare to enter the bottom 3 layers casually, it is too dangerous. Come, let me bring you to Gu Immortal Pang Shan. He has the most interaction with Chu Du. He was the one who recommended Chu Du in the first place. Chu Du knows our rules, but he still asked you to come here. He definitely has his objectives. Pang Shan should know. Under Not Immortal's lead, Fang Yuan met with Gu Immortal Pang Shan at a small valley in the 6th layer. A huge person. Pang Shan was dozens of meters tall. He was situated in the valley. He was using the valley as his chair. He was in a half lying down position. He made Fang Yuan think of that Leshan giant Buddha back on earth. Pang Shan opened his eyes slightly, waking up from his sleep. Oh. Chu Du is asking for reinforcements. We did have an agreement before. Pang Shan said in a deep tone, speaking very slowly. As expected. What agreement? Not Immortal stroked his beard and asked. Lend him Immortal Gu and killer moves to resolve his alliance agreements. Pang Shan replied slowly. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1175, Do Not Care. Chapter 1175, Do Not Care. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Oh. Fang Yuan heard Pang Shan's reply and felt extremely shocked. During this period of time, he had been looking for a way to remove his alliance agreements, but to think that it would show up in front of him like this. At once, Fang Yuan felt extremely complex. He had thought that Chu Du was here to ask for reinforcements, but to think that Chu Du's true intention was to remove alliance agreements. Chu Du had such a backup, but he had not used it yet, only activating it now. Evidently, asking the 3 crazed demon eccentrics for help has a price. Crazed Demon Cave was a special place. Demonic sounds often played, causing Dao marks to become chaotic and all immortal materials to become useless. Because of the special environment, Gu immortals here could not connect to treasure Yellow Heaven at all. The 3 crazed demon eccentrics were isolated from the world. And Domination Immortal Chu Du needed to guard against Heavenly Lord Baizu's invasion. He could not leave. He was unable to act personally and leave the defense of He Fan Grotto Heaven to others. Thus, even though Chu Du and Fang Yuan did not know each other for long, because of their closely linked alliance relationship, at this moment, Chu Du had to ask Fang Yuan to come, exposing the secret of Crazed Demon Cave. No, Chu Du is very shrewd. He might be intentionally exposing this to me. Fang Yuan had a thought flash in his mind. If this guess was accurate, then Fang Yuan could not clearly guess Chu Du's intention. Fang Yuan was skilled at scheming, so was Chu Du, the domination immortal that could make the super force Lu tribe feel helpless. How could he be a simple brute? Immediately, Fang Yuan held his breath as he asked Pang Shan, according to what I know, Lord Domination Immortal has many alliance agreements. They are of different sources. They are not purely information path alliance agreements. There are also other paths that could attain the result of information path. Fang Yuan was spouting nonsense. However, Chu Du had roamed northern plains for so long, he had to have relationships with people. He definitely had many alliance agreements. Not Immortal stroked his herd and kept silent, smiling lightly. Pang Shan spoke slowly, but his voice was filled with confidence. No matter what alliance agreement it is from whichever path, my method can resolve it. Because my Immortal Gu is called Care. Immortal Gu Care. Fang Yuan did not conceal the shock inside him, it was shown all over his face. Care Immortal Gu, almost everyone knew about it. Because it was in the top 10 of the list of mystical Gu. In the past, it was ranked 3rd. But after the Battle of Tian Mountain, Fang Yuan's identity was exposed. Everyone knew that he was a person from the future who had used Spring-Autumn Cicada to rebirth. Thus, Spring-Autumn Cicada went from 7th place to 3rd. Care Immortal Gu, which was originally 3rd, became 4th. The list of mystical Gu was constantly changing. Of course, the top 10 seldom adjusted. Spring-Autumn Cicada was related to Red Lotus Demon Venerable. The latter was incredibly mysterious. There was little information about him in this world compared to the other venerables. As for rumors regarding Spring-Autumn Cicada, not everyone held the same view. Fang Yuan's example proved Spring-Autumn Cicada's immense value. The status of this immortal Gu rose drastically in everyone's minds, its ranking rose as a result. Most of the top 10 mystical Gu were related to rank 9 venerables. The 4th place Care Gu was refined by Limitless Demon Venerable when he searched for the secluded domain of heaven and earth, Care, that was recorded in the Legends of Renzu. 5th place was Chi Escape Gu. 6th place was Combat Relocation Gu, it originated from Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. 7th place was Connect Mind Gu, it came from Star Constellation Immortal Venerable. And for the number 1 mystical Gu, it was refined by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. According to the Legends of Renzu, Chapter 4, Section 24. Renzu wanted to save his own children, but he encountered a beast man along the way. He was affected by Fear Gu. Fear Gu made Renzu fear everything. He was unable to advance due to his fears. Renzu was tormented by his fear, he was in deep agony. He consulted Self Gu. Self Gu answered, "Then let me eat it." Renzu waved his hand, "No, no. I want nothing more than to avoid fear. If you eat it, this fear will stay with me for life. This is too risky." Renzu asked Cognition Gu. Cognition Gu said, "O human, you want to conquer fear, you need to have courage." Renzu was troubled. "I used to have Courage Gu as my companion, it is the friend of Faith Gu. But afterwards, because I encountered the hairy men, due to failure Gu, it left me." Cognition Gu said, "I'll teach you a method, hide Fear Gu deep within your heart. Move forward after that and Courage Gu will come to you. Courageous people are not fearless, they are just hiding fear deep within their hearts." Renzu was more troubled now. "O Gu, what are you thinking? Precisely because of fear, I cannot advance, thus I need courage. But you are telling me that to obtain courage, I need to move forward first." While they were talking, a Gu worm flew over. "Is it Courage Gu?" Renzu was overjoyed, before feeling disappointment. Because this immortal Gu was not Courage Gu, it was Love Gu. Sometimes, love comes to you on its own. Love Gu said, "O human, I can smell hope and fear from you, as love, they are my food." Renzu was overjoyed, "You can take fear away, but hope is mine, I cannot give it to you." Love Gu refused, "Only hope and fear can nourish me together, that is how I survive. O human, then I can only stay by your side." Renzu did not have any good feelings towards Love Gu, he was not very willing, but Love Gu said, "Don't chase me away, with me around, you can summon Courage Gu." Indeed, after Renzu called out, Courage Gu flew to his side a while later. "Ah, this is the aura of love. Oh, and fear too." Courage Gu landed in Renzu's heart with much satisfaction. It was actually good friends with Fear Gu, the two were playing as they flew around Renzu's heart. Fear and courage are often within one's grasp. Renzu had courage, his fear dissipated by a huge amount, he could move on again. "Oh Renzu, I want to thank you, you are the reason why I broke free from fear." Before Renzu left, the beast man came to him. "I have 2 Gu here, one is loyalty, one is betrayal. Choose one, this will be my token of gratitude towards you." The beast man said, taking out 2 Gu worms, holding one in each hand. Renzu did not know which to choose. Love Gu said, "Choose loyalty, you already have fear." Cognition Gu said instead, "Go choose betrayal, you already have courage." Renzu was troubled, he asked the beast man, "Can I take a look at them first?" The beast man said, "Of course." Renzu thus obtained both Loyalty Gu and Betrayal Gu, but to think that after he took them, Loyalty Gu turned into Betrayal Gu, and Betrayal Gu turned into Loyalty Gu. Renzu was puzzled. The beast man explained, loyalty to others is betrayal to oneself, betraying others is loyalty to yourself. Self Gu spoke at this time, O human, choose betrayal. Since you are walking on your own road, you will need to betray others, and even betray yourself. Renzu made up his mind, he chose Betrayal Gu. The beast man kept Loyalty Gu. Before leaving, he told Renzu, O Renzu, you have betrayal now, you cannot go to a place called care. At that place, betrayal will harm you, but if you do not care, then betrayal cannot harm you at all. Renzu nodded, thank you beast man, I will remember your advice. In Crazed Demon Cave. At Pang Shan's will, Immortal Gu Care flew out of his immortal aperture. He said to Not Immortal, even though I have care Immortal Gu, it is not enough. Not Immortal stroked his herd, I understand. He took out an Immortal Gu. This is Immortal Gu, no. The two Immortal Gu were different in appearance, they floated towards Fong Yuan. Pang Shan and Not Immortal took out their respective wills, as well as their own red date immortal essence. We will trouble you to bring these to Domination Immortal. By then, he will have no lingering worries, he would not be restricted by the backlashes of alliance agreements. Not Immortal said to Fong Yuan. Fong Yuan was a little stunned. Two rank 7 Immortal Gu were lent out like this, they were so casual about it, was their relationship with Chu Du really that close, or were they influenced by Crazed Demon Cave? Two wills carrying Immortal Gu and Immortal Essence entered Fong Yuan's sleeves. Fong Yuan said goodbye as he asked before leaving, may I ask both seniors, if I want to borrow these Immortal Gu in the future, what should I do? Pang Shan did not speak, he opened his eyes slightly before shutting them, falling into deep sleep again. Not Immortal smiled and did not speak. Fong Yuan sighed internally, he turned around and left. Not Immortal did not send him off. But Fong Yuan had already memorized the route, he managed to move along the route without any danger. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1176, Crazed Demon Agreement. Chapter 1176, Crazed Demon Agreement. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. The route to leave Crazed Demon Cave was much shorter than going in. Some days later, Fong Yuan arrived in Heifan Grotto Heaven. To think that Chu Du also has a Super Gu formation, and has even set it up to transport Gu immortals in and out of Heifan Grotto Heaven. Fong Yuan felt admiration towards Chu Du's foresight and preparation. This was his backup. As long as he set up a teleportation Gu formation in the outside world that was not discovered, Chu Du and the others would not be trapped in Heifan Grotto Heaven by Heavenly Lord Baizu. This showed that even though Chu Du resisted Heavenly Lord Baizu and had a strong attitude, he was not just being rash and reckless. Brother Lu, you have arrived. Chu Du was already standing outside the formation, waiting for Fong Yuan. Seeing Fong Yuan, he showed joy on his face. Fong Yuan sighed, fate toys with people, if there were no mishaps, Heifan Grotto Heaven would have already become a peaceful paradise. Fong Yuan looked around, only to see that Heifan Grotto Heaven had rising smoke and flames, beast growls could be heard, there were large pits on the ground, fierce battles were happening far away. Chu Du introduced at an appropriate timing, Heifan Grotto Heaven has huge space, Heavenly Lord Baizu is continuously sending in desolate beasts to invade, but I have already invited several experts, they are staying guard at different locations, while I am here to prevent Heavenly Lord Baizu from coming in personally. Fong Yuan had a solemn expression, his gaze held deep meaning, Brother Chu, you have heavy responsibilities, I did not disappoint you, I brought what you need. Saying this, Fong Yuan waved his sleeves as two wills flew out from them. The wills flew to the air and turned into the figures of Not Immortal and Pang Shan. From the outside, one could vaguely see the immortal essence and immortal Gu that they were carrying. Fong Yuan did not keep these two wills in his own immortal aperture. The sovereign immortal aperture could not be exposed. In this current situation, the wills of not immortal and Pang Shan could not be targeted. Along the way, Fang Yuan had thought of harming these two wills and taking those extremely precious immortal Gu for himself. But this was very unlikely. The main reason was that Fang Yuan had an alliance agreement: once he attacked, it would activate, he would die from the backlash. Secondly, these two immortal Gu were not easy to snatch, because the Gu Immortal's will was not just carrying the immortal Gu itself inside it was filled with will. With just a thought, these two immortal Gu would self-detonate. "Thank you," Chu Du said as he kept Pang Shan's will in his immortal aperture directly. This small detail was noticed by Fang Yuan, he noted it internally. The immortal aperture was the basis of a Gu Immortal, it was the most reliable source of resources, one would not expose it to outsiders normally. Chu Du seemed to greatly trust Pang Shan. Chu Du said to Not Immortal's will, "Not Immortal, you can stay with this ally of mine." Not Immortal stroked his beard, smiling at Fang Yuan, "My main body guessed correctly, you really chose this person." "What do you mean?" Fang Yuan asked, he was filled with questions and suspicions on this trip to Crazed Demon Cave. Chu Du explained, "I will summarize it. Crazed Demon Cave is one of the 10 great fierce areas in northern plains on the surface, but it was actually specially created by Limitless Demon Venerable in his later years, to pursue the secrets of eternal life. Limitless Demon Venerable refined the legendary derivation Gu, he hid inside Crazed Demon Cave and did experiments and Gu refinements on it, hoping to reach a breakthrough. Limitless Demon Venerable. Eternal life. Fang Yuan's eyes shined brightly, did Limitless Demon Venerable succeed? Not Immortals will shook his head, we are unclear on that. Limitless Demon Venerable's whereabouts are not listed clearly in historical records. The conclusion is, he went missing mysteriously, whether he succeeded or failed, we do not know. However, Not Immortals will said, what Chu Du said is true. Crazed Demon Cave was indeed where Limitless Demon Venerable stayed in his later years, Derivation Gu is currently at the deepest layer of Crazed Demon Cave. Around Derivation Gu, there is a huge Super Gu formation set up. Derivation Gu. Fang Yuan muttered. This Gu was extremely famous, not just Gu Immortals, even almost all Gu Masters knew about it. The reason was that it was inside the Legends of Renzu. Towards the end of the Legends of Renzu, after the 7 heavens broke, Renzu's 10 children died one by one, and Renzu was about to die of old age. But at the end, Renzu gathered the corpses of his 10 children and sacrificed himself, all entering the stomach of Derivation Gu. Derivation Gu's stomach burst, exploding as the light of life spread across the land, creating the first batch of mortals. These mortals did not have Renzu or the 10 children's aptitude, but they could cultivate after awakening their aperture. Humanity thus grew and developed, forming today's size. During this process, 10 rank 9 venerables were born, each of them led their own era and left deep marks on the world. Eventually, today's situation in the 5 regions was formed. Limitless Demon Venerable actually obtained Derivation Gu, was he trying to imitate Renzu, and create the human race again? Fang Yuan sighed in shock as he asked. That's not the case. Not Immortal answered, Renzu created humanity, it is an unparalleled method of human path. Limitless Demon Venerable, however, cultivated rule path, he wanted to use Derivation Gu to derive new Dao marks, eventually using these Dao marks as clues to reach eternal life. Using Derivation Gu to derive Dao marks. Fang Yuan was shocked. Chu Du nodded, even though this is the estimation of the 3 crazed demon eccentrics, Crazed Demon Cave has physical proof of it. The demonic sounds inside Crazed Demon Cave were the result of Limitless Demon Venerable's Super Gu formation. His motive was not to make all the living beings go crazy, that was only the side effect, his true motive was to cause changes in the Dao marks in their bodies, to create brand new Dao marks. So that's it. Fang Yuan's mind shook, he thought about it and asked, does that really work? Not Immortal followed up, the deeper you go into Crazed Demon Cave, the stronger the demonic sounds. Among chaotic Dao marks, new Dao marks do indeed form. But these new Dao marks will be transferred to the deepest layer due to the Super Gu formation, us three crazed demon eccentrics want to get through these obstacles of Dao marks and enter the core of the Super Gu formation, to control derivation Gu and make this Super Gu formation work for us. Precisely as a result, the three crazed demon eccentrics need my strength. Chu Du said. Fang Yuan realized at once, he had a guess. As expected, Chu Du's following words affirmed his guess. At the lowest layer, all sorts of Dao marks of all paths are present. The three crazed demon eccentrics have their own specialties, but their strength path attainment is below mine. Thus, they invited me, wanting to use my understanding toward strength path and methods to resolve their obstacles in terms of strength path Dao marks. Not immortals will side, it is not about helping us three crazed demon eccentrics, it is about helping yourselves. We, the three crazed demon eccentrics, have been in crazed demon cave for hundreds of years. Even though we are making progress, it is not evident. The secret of eternal life, it is not something the three of us can obtain with just our power. We need you, and you need us, only by working together can we obtain the fruits of limitless demon venerable's labor. The three crazed demon eccentrics went through hundreds of years without much progress, they could only recruit new people to help. Chu Du was their target. And Chu Du thought that Fang Yuan was suitable, because of Reckless Savage's true meaning. Chu Du felt that he was going to sustain his cooperation with Fang Yuan for a long time, they had to obtain deeper connections. Thus, he gave the three crazed demon eccentrics token to Fang Yuan and asked him to find them. Among the three eccentrics, Not Immortal and Pang Shan saw Chu Du's intent, thus they were very warm to Fang Yuan. Chu Du, you are a strength path great expert, right now in Northern Plains, no, in the 5 regions, you are an authoritative figure of strength path. It is not strange that you were chosen by the 3 seniors of Crazed Demon Cave, but what abilities do I have to be chosen? Fang Yuan asked. Chu Du laughed loudly, Brother Lu, don't be so humble. You are a transformation path rank 7 Gu immortal, you can disguise as a rank 6 without showing any flaws. I saw your tribulation, even though I only took a look, the power of the calamity was immense, it shows your deep foundation. Looking over the entire Northern Plains Gu immortal world, in terms of transformation path achievement, hardly anyone can compete with you. What? He is a rank 7 Gu immortal. Hearing Chu Du's words, even not immortals was shocked. He assessed Fang Yuan again, impressive. His transformation path foundation is truly deep, be it my main body or Pang Shan's main body, we could not tell. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly. This was mainly due to his immortal killer move Familiar Face. Of course, there was also the impression left on Chu Du by the calamities. Familiar Face was indeed a transformation path immortal killer move. Fang Yuan knew, even though his transformation path attainment level was not low, his foundation was superficial. He was relying on Familiar Face to make others misunderstand him. But this misunderstanding was quite good. Fang Yuan thus used Familiar Face to raise his aura from rank 6 to rank 7. Not Immortal felt Fang Yuan's aura change and stared with wide-opened eyes, completely shocked. I was not intending to deceive you, but I was going into a dangerous place, I had to conceal myself for survival, I hope you will not blame me. Fang Yuan apologized to Not Immortal's will, speaking politely and having a sincere tone. Not Immortal's will quickly waved his hand, I have learned much. Indeed, Domination Immortal has good foresight. His attitude had changed drastically. Interaction between Gu Immortals mostly depended on strength. Chu Du was solemn, Brother Lu, are you willing to join us in the search for the secret of eternal life, Limitless Demon Venerable's achievement in his later years? Of course I am willing. Fang Yuan was similarly solemn. Not Immortals will stroked his beard, then after this battle, can Brother Lu go to Crazed Demon Cave, we will set the Crazed Demon agreement. All right. Fang Yuan replied curtly. Next, Not Immortal can follow Brother Lu. Chu Du arranged. This arrangement was very sincere. If Chu Du kept Not Immortal and Pang Shan's will, he would have both Immortal Gu know and care. He would be able to break his agreement without facing backlash. But if he separated both Immortal Gu, no, Immortal Gu would be in Fang Yuan's hand, while Care Immortal Gu would be with Chu Du. Not only can it dispel Fang Yuan's suspicions, it would also let Fang Yuan feel the sincerity of Chu Du and the three crazed demon eccentrics. However, Fang Yuan waved his hand, saying something overbearing, "If both of you can trust me, I will keep no Immortal Gu. Not Immortal's will and immortal essence can be kept by Brother Chu." Not Immortal's will was dazed before stroking his beard. Chu Du laughed, "Brother Lu, oh, you are seriously vigilant. Alright, we will go with that. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1177, Contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, 1/3. Chapter 1177, Contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, 1/3. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Several days later, Hei Fan Grotto Heaven. Stiff horse hooves stomped on the ground. A black desolate beast horse was charging towards Fang Yuan while running like the wind. Fang Yuan sighed internally. He could have dodged, but a trench was behind him. Inside the trench, there were the multicolored guts that Chu Du had placed before. After placing these multicolored guts, they needed to absorb enough earth chi and nutrients before they could be relocated again. If they were forcefully moved, they would be destroyed. Thus, a lot of the resources in Hei Fan Grotto Heaven were moved back into his own immortal aperture by Chu Du, but some of the resources like the multicolored guts could not be taken away in the short term. Ever since Fang Yuan brought the two Immortal Gu to Chu Du, he was asked to defend this place, to protect the multicolored guts from harm. Of course, his services were not free. Chu Du had already promised Fang Yuan that in the end, he would give half of the multicolored guts that were left to Fang Yuan, as payment. Flying Bear Transformation. Fang Yuan's body shined with dazzling light. After the light faded, he turned into a huge white bear, using his firm chest to block the charge of the desolate beast horse. Flying Bear Fang Yuan took 5 to 6 steps back, almost falling to the ground. But the desolate beast horse went to a standstill, shaking its head as it felt dizzy. "Nice strength," Fang Yuan said. The pain in his chest made him grind his teeth, but the words he said turned into the growling of the bear. Flying Bear Fang Yuan breathed roughly for a few seconds. Seeing that the desolate beast horse was still dizzy, he pounced at it. Boom! Dust clouds rose, the surrounding scenery shook. Flying Bear Fang Yuan slammed the desolate beast horse to the ground, raising his huge bear paws as he struck at the horse. The horse was crying out in pain, struggling under Fang Yuan's body. It had great strength, but Fang Yuan was unmoved. He suppressed the horse firmly. "Thankfully, I added Flying Bear Strength Gu into my Flying Bear Transformation Killer move. I have the strength of an actual flying bear. Otherwise, I would not be able to suppress this desolate beast horse." Fang Yuan felt secretly glad as he acted more quickly. In a while, the desolate beast horse had saliva foaming out from its mouth, its eyes rolled backwards as it fainted. Fang Yuan chuckled, deactivating the killer move as he turned back to human. He next opened his immortal aperture, storing the desolate beast horse into his sovereign immortal aperture. This is the third desolate beast. Fang Yuan thought to himself, having a distracted gaze. He was at the rear. Dao marks were more abundant here. Heavenly Lord Bai Zu would not choose to send his desolate beasts here. It was difficult for them to reach this place and not worth it. After Fang Yuan learned about the secret of Crazed Demon Cave, he expressed his willingness to join in. He and Chu Du's relationship progressed further. In order to defend his benefits, Chu Du sent Fang Yuan here to guard the place. Even though the battle was intense, Fang Yuan had an easy time. These last few days, the desolate beasts that had gone past the front lines numbered to 3, 2 desolate beast horses and 1 desolate beast shark fin wolf. Fang Yuan treated them as his practice partners for transformation path. He killed the first 2, he only captured the desolate beast horse from earlier. The desolate beast horse earlier had no shadow, it should be the famous shadowless horse of northern plains. The shadowless horse had no shadow. This was an obvious trait. Even though Fang Yuan had not seen this desolate beast before, he could recognize it. Even though the shadowless horse was a desolate beast, it was quite a rare one. It was not commonly sold in Treasure Yellow Heaven. Mainly because shadowless horses were low in numbers to begin with. This shadowless horse was Heavenly Lord Bai Zu's desolate beast. After Fang Yuan kept it into his immortal aperture, he immediately used perceivable Dao Immortal Gu to inspect it. Indeed, Fang Yuan realized that on the shadowless horse's body, other than dark path and light path Dao marks, there were also many enslavement path Dao marks. After several attempts, Fang Yuan realized he could not get rid of these enslavement path Dao marks, thus, he gave up and killed the shadowless horse. This shadowless horse was enslaved by Heavenly Lord Bai Zu. Placing it in his immortal aperture would only cause it to destroy the environment. He might as well kill the shadowless horse and sell the horse bones and flesh in Treasure Yellow Heaven for some profits. A living shadowless horse had greater value, but it was Heavenly Lord Bai Zu's property. Others could not enslave it. Other Gu immortals were not idiots. They would not buy this problematic horse. Furthermore, selling this shadowless horse openly would naturally be discovered by Heavenly Lord Bai Zu. He might use his relationships to buy this horse indirectly. Not only would he gain the attention of a rank 8 Gu immortal, he would also be strengthening his enemy. Thus, Fang Yuan killed it. After cutting up this shadowless horse and processing it, Fang Yuan put up a portion of it into Treasure Yellow Heaven for sale. He realized that these last few days, the two desolate beast corpses that he tossed into Treasure Yellow Heaven had almost no popularity. These two desolate beast corpses were taken out from Crazed Demon Cave, the Monkey King corpse and Tree Python corpse. Before selling them, Fang Yuan had used perceivable Dao Immortal Gu to inspect them. He realized that the Monkey King and Tree Python corpses had all sorts of Dao marks. Normally speaking, desolate beasts would only have Dao marks of one specific path. Obviously, the demonic sounds in Crazed Demon Cave had caused this situation. The demonic sounds were created by Limitless Demon Venerable's Super Gu formation. It could make the listener go berserk, while also transforming their body's Dao marks into all sorts of strange Dao marks. Fang Yuan thought about it. He retrieved these two desolate beast corpses and placed them back into his sovereign immortal aperture. The longer he placed them in Treasure Yellow Heaven, the more fees he would incur. It was not worth the price. Other than these desolate beast corpses, Fang Yuan also brought back large numbers of mortal Gu. Among which, Day Gu, Month Gu, and Year Gu were the highest in number. Other than those, there were Gu worms of other varieties. Ever since Fang Yuan obtained He Fan's true inheritance, he had been purchasing these mortal Gu in Treasure Yellow Heaven. When he used a Time Path Immortal Killer move, it expended a lot of them. Other than Day, Month, and Year mortal Gu, Fang Yuan's greatest need in terms of mortal Gu was Self-Will Gu. But Self-Will Gu was very rare. Fang Yuan mainly asked the Hairy Man Gu masters in Langya's sect to refine them, expending his sect contribution points. Fang Yuan had been asking in Treasure Yellow Heaven if anyone was selling heavenly crystals. Up until now, he had only found two. One was a rank 8 Gu immortal. They wanted to trade with materials, but Fang Yuan did not have what they wanted. The other was rank 6, due to a fortuitous encounter. They obtained half a piece of heavenly crystal. They wanted to sell it since they did not need it. Fang Yuan wanted to buy it, but a Gu immortal who wanted heavenly crystals even more appeared, buying it with 3 times the usual price. Fang Yuan thought about it and gave up. Even though he had a lot of resources, the 5th earthly calamity was coming at that time. It was not worth it for that tiny heavenly crystal. Oh. At this time, Fang Yuan suddenly received Chu Du's message. He asked him to reinforce Li Si Chun. The situation over there was very dangerous. He needed backup. These last few days, this was the first message that Fang Yuan received. He immediately went to the battlefield. There, Li Si Chun and Immortal Wang were already in a tough battle. A group of desolate beast wolves were encircling them. They were huge in numbers. There were 100 of them. But Fang Yuan was not surprised. He had obtained much intel from Chu Du. Heavenly Lord Baizu had an immortal killer move. It could create clones of desolate beasts to form a clone army. There would only be one actual desolate beast, but if it could not be found, these clones would quickly replenish themselves endlessly. Each desolate beast had one figure of Heavenly Lord Baizu seated on them. They were clones as well. Then, which one is the main body? Fong Yuan frowned. At the next moment, he used Myriad Self. Countless strength path phantoms filled the sky as they charged at the wolf group. It's Lu Guanyi. Li Si-chun sensed as he cried out in joy. Immortal Wang snorted coldly. Last time, Fong Yuan made him bait. His impression regarding Fong Yuan was at rock bottom. Right now, even though Fong Yuan was here to help, he was not grateful. The Myriad Self Army and the wolf group tangled together. 2 breaths of time later, the Myriad Self Army broke apart. They were almost completely killed by the wolf group. Matched against Heavenly Lord Baizu's cloning killer move, Fong Yuan's Myriad Self really paled in comparison. Myriad Self had huge potential. It was an immortal killer move combining strength path and enslavement path, but as his opponents got stronger, its usefulness was falling drastically. In the past, the Myriad Self Army could fight. But now, it had become Fong Yuan's method of concealing his true body. Even though they had quantity, they lacked quality and battle strength. Myriad Self Giant Hand. Only after Fong Yuan used Myriad Self First Style was there a change in the situation. Against the Strength Path Giant Hand, the desolate beast wolves could barely resist. Snowy Mountain Blessed Land, First Peak. The Refinement Path Gu formation was activated. Shining lights were enveloping the peak of the mountain, like a miniature sun. Third time. Lady Wan Shou breathed in deeply. She was holding onto a condensed lightning ball as she got closer to Ma Hongyun, who was in the formation. Ma Hongyun shouted, "No! No! Let me off! I am going to die, I will die!" The lightning ball entered his chest. Clap clap clap. Countless sparks appeared on his body. Ma Hongyun's eyes were turning as the whites were exposed. He no longer leaked out saliva, but blood instead. He fainted again. After a while, the lightning vanished. I failed again. Lady Wan Shou's vision turned dark. An intense dizziness almost made her collapse to the ground. She forced herself to continue, disregarding her injuries and healing Ma Hongyun instead. Ma Hongyun had to be alive for the lightning refinement to work. This guy's cultivation level actually rose by 1 rank. During the process of healing, Lady Wan Shou discovered an anomaly. Is it because of the lightning refinement? Indeed, some relic Gu were used. It can raise the Gu master's cultivation level. Dear, are you alright? Old Ancestor Xuehu arrived at this time. No need to worry. Lady Wan Shou was still pale, but she smiled to Old Ancestor Xuehu. I just need to rest for a while to recover. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1178, Contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, 2/3. Chapter 1178, Contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, 2/3. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Inside Hei Fan Grotto Heaven. The desolate beast wolf group that numbered to 100 was charging towards them. Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu stood side by side, having solemn expressions. They looked at each other before using their strongest technique again, immortal killer move, Wind Thunder Roar. Bam! The wind and lightning pillar swept the battlefield. At once, the earth shook, the sky trembled, few desolate beast wolves were left. They had suffered immense damage. Fong Yuan and the others were right beside Hao Zhen and Chou Lao Wu. Their expressions changed. Every time they saw Wind Thunder Roar, they felt their hearts shaking. Such battle strength was truly at the peak of rank 7. Those desolate beast wolves were mostly clones, even weaker than their true bodies. They could not withstand Wind Thunder Roar. Even 2 true bodies died. The final one had been lucky enough to survive this Wind Thunder Roar because it was at the back of the group. Kill it, we cannot let this true body escape. Otherwise, in a few hours, it will have another group of clones protecting it again. Gu Immortal Wei Ming shouted, pouncing at it. This Gu Immortal's eyes were shut, he was a blind man. He had rank 7 cultivation level and incredible battle strength. He became blind on purpose as he pursued battle strength. Be careful, there is a fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf. At the next moment, Immortal Wang shouted frantically. Wei Ming's body froze. At that moment, a fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf appeared out of nowhere, its sharp fangs were about to bite Wei Ming. Wei Ming snorted coldly, his body retreated backwards towards the left like an illusory shadow. The fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf bit, but it missed by an inch, its sharp teeth did not land on Wei Ming. Wei Ming broke out in cold sweat, suddenly saying, "Oh no." At the next moment, the fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf opened its mouth as a lump of green wind shot towards Wei Ming like a plasma cannon. Wei Ming's defenses lasted for a short while before they were torn apart, his entire body was shredded into countless pieces of flesh. Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone stood arrogantly on the fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf's head, he had a cold expression as Immortal Gu aura emanated from him. You ran away quickly, but next time, you will not be so lucky. Heavenly Lord Baizu said coldly. So close, thankfully, I used my body replacement killer move. The real Wei Ming showed himself, he had managed to escape. This happened again. The immortals' gazes focused on Heavenly Lord Baizu, they had heavy hearts. The fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf was an ancient desolate beast, it had rank 7 battle strength. Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone could use Immortal Gu, coordinating with the fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf. He would observe the situation and use the Immortal Gu at appropriate times, because of that, their combined battle strength was many times higher. At the start, Heavenly Lord Baizu was sending large numbers of desolate beasts to invade Hei Fan Grotto Heaven. But now, he gained a deeper understanding of Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, he could use desolate beasts and clones to create battle opportunities, to even send in ancient desolate beasts. Every ancient desolate beast was accompanied by a clone of Heavenly Lord Baizu. This combination had appeared many times already, it was gradually changing the battle situation. Immortal Wang immediately turned into the falling star hound, saying human words, Brother Hao and Brother Cho, quickly retreat. This fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf has hidden itself, it probably is attempting to target you too. Hao Zhen and Cho Lao Wu had pale faces, they were very weak. Wind Thunder Roar was powerful, but using this move had a huge price. For the following period of time, Cho Lao Wu and Hao Zhen would have reduced battle strength, their usefulness would fall drastically. This contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven had been ongoing for days. Hao Zhen and Cho Lao Wu's Wind Thunder Roar was a powerful tool, especially useful against desolate beast groups. All the Gu Immortals agreed on this. Thus, for the eventual victory, the Gu Immortals were intentionally protecting the lives of Hao Zhen and Cho Lao Wu. Cho Lao Wu and Hao Zhen also understood this, they immediately retreated. I will escort you. Li Si Chun flew to them. Fang Yuan, Immortal Wang, and Wei Ming were left. Quickly settle this ancient desolate beast, about 3,000 li away, another ancient desolate beast has appeared. At this time, Chu Du sent them a message. I will block it from the front, the two of you find a chance to kill it. Immortal Wang howled, turning into the falling star hound to face the fragrant sorcerer-ine statue wolf. Fang Yuan and Wei Ming cooperated, one flew into the sky while the other went to the back, attacking at the same time. An intense battle ensued. Immortal Wang was temporarily matched against it, Fang Yuan found a chance and flying sword Immortal Gu flew over. Ding! With a loud sound, Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone used his Immortal Gu and blocked it. Use an Immortal Killer move, what can an Immortal Gu do on its own? Woof! When Immortal Wang felt anxious, he would subconsciously bark like a dog. What do you know? Fang Yuan sneered in disdain. At the next moment, Wei Ming attacked, a light path Immortal Killer move destroyed Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone. It turned out, Fang Yuan had attacked on purpose to draw the attention of Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone, so that Wei Ming could find a chance to attack. As they continued to fight, the Gu immortals in He Fan Grotto Heaven started to develop some coordination. They are just clones, they have limited intelligence. But this type of immortal Gu usage is truly incredible. Fang Yuan sighed internally. He had already felt this many times. Destroying the Heavenly Lord Baizu clone did not destroy the immortal Gu. It seemed like the immortal Gu was also a clone that was with Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone. It was unknown how Heavenly Lord Baizu managed to do that. Thus, Heavenly Lord Baizu's strength was only slightly weakened, he did not suffer much losses. Next, the three immortals attacked the fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf. This ancient desolate beast was covered with Dao marks, it had incredible defense. Fang Yuan used flying sword immortal Gu but could only puncture its skin and fur. After piercing deeply into its flesh, it could not move anymore. Even the immortal killer move sword mark targeting death was inefficient, a lot of its power was negated by the fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf's Dao marks. Thankfully, without the help of Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone, the fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf's intelligence alone could not match the three immortals. During this period, many distorted shadows had appeared in the sky. Heavenly Lord Baizu was attempting to send in more clones to help the fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf. But Fang Yuan and the rest discovered them in time and attacked, preventing the Heavenly Lord clones from reaching the fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf. Minutes later, this fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf was killed and cut into pieces by Fang Yuan and the rest. They split up the flesh into 3 portions evenly among themselves. The death of an ancient desolate beast was quite a loss to Heavenly Lord Baizu. But in this situation, in order to take down He Fan Grotto Heaven, he had to continue. Fang Yuan and the others had severe losses too, especially Fang Yuan. His green grape immortal essence expenditure was huge. We have been fighting a lot these last days, if this continues, my green grape immortal essence will be used up. Fang Yuan showed no expression, but he was getting anxious internally. The other Gu immortals were rank 7, they used red date immortal essence to activate rank 7 immortal Gu, it was fitting. But Fang Yuan used green grape immortal essence, it was very hard and inefficient. Thankfully, Fang Yuan had good finances, he sold desolate beast and ancient desolate beast corpses from time to time, sustaining his expenditure. After killing this fragrant sorcerer Yin statue wolf, the 3 immortals went to the next battlefield, they had no time to rest. The situation was getting worse. Some days ago, Fang Yuan could still hide inside the trench and guard the multicolored guts. But recently, he had to go around helping out the others. Right now, he was like a firefighter, he could not rest, he had to travel and help out the different battlefields. Heavenly Lord Baizu's main body was blocked by Chu Du, but he had incredible methods, he continued to send in ancient desolate beasts and desolate beasts, it caused the situation in He Fan Grotto Heaven to tilt in his favor. A moment later, Fang Yuan and the rest arrived. It was a heavenly dragon, it had 7 claws and a terrifying dragon head, it was an ancient desolate beast. Someone was already fighting the heavenly dragon. In order to defend He Fan Grotto Heaven, Chu Du spent a lot of funds getting more Gu immortal experts to help him, other than Immortal Wang's group. This female Gu immortal, Xianxia Chu, was one of them. Her path was very special, it was actually theft path. This was the path created by thieving heaven demon venerable, there were few inheritances regarding it. Xianxia Chu was at a disadvantage, she was unable to hold much longer, even though she had stolen a lot of mortal Gu from the heavenly dragon's body, it had little effect on the enemy. Fang Yuan and the rest quickly went to help, attacking the ancient desolate beast heavenly dragon. This time, they were not as lucky as last time. After spending a lot of effort, the immortals finally killed Heavenly Lord Baizu's clone. Killing the heavenly dragon took multiple times as long as the last beast, because the heavenly dragon could fly and was very fast, it was not easy to hunt. After killing this heavenly dragon, Fang Yuan's mood became grimmer. In the battle, his immortal essence expenditure was several times that of before. Currently, his usage was greatly exceeding his gain in immortal essence stones. At this rate, in a few days, he would be out of immortal essence. The Gu immortals gathered together and split the heavenly dragon corpse, when Chu Du spoke, "Quick. The battle earlier was a decoy by Heavenly Lord, he has already planted a field of desolate plant snow willows here, we have to get rid of them, once Heavenly Lord gets a foothold in here, the consequences will be severe." Fang Yuan and the rest noticed how dangerous the situation was, they did not dare to wait, they acted immediately. A moment later, they arrived at the scene, the situation was far more severe than they had expected. Not only was there a field of desolate plant snow willows, there were 100 ice-spiked divine apes to guard them. Snow willows had an abundance of snow path Dao marks, the ice-spiked divine ape was also ice path, the two complemented each other, and countless Heavenly Lord clones were moving around the snow willow forest, setting up Gu formations. "We have to destroy this camp, the longer we drag on, the greater his advantage." Chu Du said, "If there is no other way, I will act myself. You should stay there and defend against Heavenly Lord. If his main body comes in, we are all finished." Hao Zhen quickly responded. He and Chou Lao Wu had also arrived, even though he had not recovered, the situation was dire, they had to risk their lives. At the next moment, 6 Gu immortals split up and charged towards the snow willow forest, engaging in an intense battle. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1179, Contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, 3/3. Chapter 1179, Contest over Hei Fan Grotto Heaven, 3/3. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Huff, huff, huff. Fang Yuan floated in the air, breathing roughly as he looked at the battlefield. An intense battle had ended. The battlefield was completely deformed, there were many pits with mangled corpses of ice-spiked divine apes inside, flames that were created with fire path killer moves were still burning quietly. There was frost mixed with blood, snapped bones and flesh, as well as leaves from the desolate plant snow willows. The Gu immortals were either injured or dead. They were all injured, but the one that died was the theft path female Gu immortal. She had not been killed by the heavenly dragon, but was killed by the cooperation of Heavenly Lord Bai Zu's clones when she rushed to assist in the battle, losing her life. Fang Yuan was also injured. His left lung was punctured by an ice spike, an icicle with the size of a javelin was still stabbed into his chest. His lower limbs were covered in a thick layer of frost, much of his flesh had already gone necrotic. The sovereign immortal body had a huge advantage, that was the non-conflicting Dao marks. But this was also a major flaw. Once Fang Yuan was hit by an attack that penetrated his defenses, he would take the damage fully, the attacks would not be weakened by the Dao marks in his body. In this battle, Fang Yuan learned deeply about the weak point of the sovereign immortal body due to this trait. My defensive killer move is still too weak. Blood Asset Immortal Gu is still recovering, I cannot use Bloodstained Conqueror's robe. My time path defensive methods are not exemplary either. Even though Fang Yuan obtained Hei Fan's true inheritance, the true core immortal Gu, years flow like water, was sealed. This immortal Gu had a huge flaw, once its aura was leaked, it would draw immemorial year beasts to it. Once something of rank 8 battle strength entered Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture, he would definitely lose, he would only be able to leave his body as a soul and give up on the sovereign immortal body. Hei Fan's true inheritance had very outstanding defensive methods, but they used years flow like water as the core. Fang Yuan's current defensive killer move used Year Gu, the effect was weaker. It was what Hei Fan used in his earlier days. When he reached rank 7, he stopped using it. Heavenly Lord Bai Zu is an enslavement path rank 8 indeed, truly formidable. Even though he is outside the grotto heaven, and only using his clones to battle, he can still fight to this extent, I am truly inferior. And the distortion of space to send desolate beasts and ancient desolate beasts into the grotto heaven, it is truly extraordinary. In this battle, Heavenly Lord Bai Zu sent in 100 ice-spiked divine apes and a large number of desolate plant snow willows. During the process of fighting, distorted shadows appeared constantly, even though the Gu immortals desperately tried to block them, 2 icefall divine apes still managed to get in. Ice-spiked divine ape. Icefall Divine Ape. The two were closely related. The former was a desolate beast, it had jade green eyes with frosty azure pupils, the hairs on its body were like icicles all over it. The latter was an ancient desolate beast, its body was like snow, its eyes were bloodshot, its fur was like icicles stabbing towards the sky. Fang Yuan was familiar with the ice-spiked divine ape, long ago, Langya Blessed Land had one. Later, Fang Yuan borrowed it to defend Hu Immortal Blessed Land, he defended against a wave of attacks from Immortal Crane sect. After that, the ice-spiked divine ape died during the battle to defend Langya Blessed Land. Fang Yuan had also fought against the Icefall divine ape. That was during He Lu Land's immortal ascension, the tribulation in the northern icy plain, because of reckless savage's true meaning, it turned into the divine ape. Right now it seems, the Icefall divine ape created from the tribulation cannot match a real divine ape in battle strength. Actually, if these desolate beasts and desolate plants are all there is to it, it is not difficult to deal with even though it is troublesome. Most importantly, Heavenly Lord Baizu's clones are manipulating and controlling them, that makes a completely different story. Especially the desolate beasts and desolate plants, they form into troops and move as one. They have incredible battle strength when enslavement path killer moves are used, it is very shocking. Fang Yuan recalled the entire battle, he could see how powerful a rank 8 Gu immortal was. Even though his main body did not enter the battlefield, by just directing the battle in the Grotto Heaven, Fang Yuan was not his match. They were able to win in battle because all of the immortals gathered their strength. Such a miserable battle, if we were to fight a few more of those, my green grape immortal essence would be completely dried up. Ye Gu has fallen in terms of years, I need to parallel refine it. Healing my injuries also consumed a lot of time and immortal essence. Fang Yuan could not bear such expenditure. Heavenly Lord Baizu's losses were more severe than Fang Yuan's. Fighting up to this point, Chu Du's side had been relying on He Fan Grotto Heaven, dragging on this battle into a deadlock, the two sides were truly in a battle of attrition. The Gu immortals expended their immortal essence, while Heavenly Lord Baizu expended the foundation in the Grotto Heaven. Both sides could not back down, they were trying to see which would be unable to continue first. The following battles became more intense. Heavenly Lord Baizu's attempts might have failed, but there was an effect. He had attempted to create temporary bases in He Fan Grotto Heaven, after he stabilized a foothold, he sent in ancient desolate beasts, causing Chu Du's side to have much difficulty in defending. Looking at the entire battle in He Fan Grotto Heaven, Heavenly Lord Baizu had initially sent clones to attack the different resource points and target Chu Du's foundation. He succeeded. Next, he sent in large numbers of desolate beasts and caused the battle to tilt in his favor. Now, he changed his battle tactics, he built temporary bases and forced the Gu immortals to attack him instead. Even though Chu Du, Fang Yuan and the rest had the advantage in numbers, and Heavenly Lord Baizu was just alone, he controlled the entire situation, suppressing Chu Du, Fang Yuan and the rest. Even though Fang Yuan and the others resisted strongly, they could not stop the situation from tilting in Heavenly Lord Baizu's favor. Both sides were persisting. But Fang Yuan was the first to lose in attrition. He was a rank 7 Gu immortal on the surface, but in truth, he had been using green grape immortal essence the entire time. Chu Du's expression was quite ugly. Especially when he was alone with Fang Yuan, he put away his front and showed an expression of worry. He said to Fang Yuan, I have already recruited all the people I could possibly rope in. But this battle's eventual winner will be Heavenly Lord Baizu. Even though we did not fight against his main body, we are unable to challenge the foundation of a rank 8. The real key in deciding victory is not in this battlefield, but the Baizu tribe outside. Chu Du was clear about the situation. He and Fang Yuan had the same idea, after all, great minds think alike. Heavenly Lord Baizu himself had no weakness, his only weakness was the Baizu tribe that he had just recently created. Chu Du's arrangements were taking effect in Northern Plains Gu immortal world. Rumors were spread. Heavenly Lord Baizu is attacking He Fan Grotto Heaven, if he succeeds in getting the place, his strength will rise to a new level. Even though Baizu tribe has just been built, Heavenly Lord Baizu is holding it up, their only weakness is their weak foundation. Once He Fan Grotto Heaven becomes Baizu tribe's territory, in decades, Baizu tribe will surpass every Huangjin tribe. Heavenly Lord Baizu is a lone cultivator, he does not have Huangjin bloodline. The strengthening of Baizu tribe is actually beneficial towards the survival of demonic and lone immortals. All sorts of rumors and discussions were going on. The main topic was on Heavenly Lord Baizu's threat, and the emphasis that he was not a descendant of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's bloodline. Not just this, there were some Gu immortals pretending to be from Baizu tribe, causing trouble everywhere and provoking the super forces. Baizu tribe's leader, Baizu Wei, had already died on the battlefield, and Baizu tribe's new leader did not have enough capability. He was facing huge trouble. He was telling Heavenly Lord Baizu about the difficulties and danger Baizu tribe was facing, and that they had enemies on all fronts. But Heavenly Lord Baizu was unmoved. He replied, "This is Chu Du's ploy. Chu Du is neither from the righteous path nor has the Huangjin bloodline. If our Baizu tribe deals with him, those people from Huangjin tribes would be most pleased." Chu Du let out these rumors and pretended to be us, purposely provoking those tribes. This is his scheme. It shows that he is weak now on the inside, only putting up a front. The other tribes are not idiots, they could tell what Chu Du was doing, but because of my deterrence as a rank 8, they did not dare to do anything. Heavenly Lord Baizu has excellent astuteness, he was clear of the situation, he was determined to take down He Fan Grotto Heaven. He had chosen the best timing. Yao Huang and old ancestor Shui who were busy refining Gu. Five Elements Grandmaster was busy dealing with Longevity Heaven, and even though Prince Feng Xian was doing nothing on the surface, he was secretly retrieving blessed lands. For Feng Yuan, it was becoming harder and harder to endure as time passed. To increase his amount of green grape immortal essence, he had to start selling desolate beasts in Treasure Yellow Heaven. He originally had 2 spinefin star dragon fish, he sold them to replenish his immortal essence stones out of necessity. This was starting to harm his immortal aperture's foundation. Earlier, he had been in a positive feedback loop due to his financial management and growth, but now, he was facing a vicious downward cycle. Undoubtedly, this was a warning signal. In terms of blessed land foundation, I surpassed Chu Du, but green grape immortal essence is my greatest weakness, thus, I was the first to burn out among the immortals. It seems that after this battle, I need to advance to rank 7 as soon as possible. The battle situation was becoming more intense, temporary camps were already being built, Chu Du had to act in person and destroy them all. Heavenly Lord Baizu chose very good timings, on multiple dangerous occasions, he nearly managed to arrive with his true body. Feng Yuan secretly asked Langya sect for help. He said to Langya Land Spirit, this was the best chance to recruit Chu Du. But Langya Land Spirit caved in when faced against a rank 8 Gu immortal. He clearly expressed that Langya sect would not help. If something happened to Feng Yuan, he had to keep Langya sect a secret. If he revealed anything, the alliance agreement would kill him. Even though I can still hold on, I have thought about it, the battle result has been decided, there is no point in wasting more resources. Chu Du decided to give up. He did not conceal this thought from Feng Yuan, he looked for Feng Yuan to talk about it. Feng Yuan had already been wanting to back out, he quickly agreed. However, just as Chu Du and Feng Yuan were talking about their retreat plans, the commotion in Northern Plains Gu immortal world changed. All of the Huangjin tribes, the righteous path super forces, united and wanted to pass judgment on Baizu tribe. To think that at the final crucial moment, a change for the better had arrived. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 1180, Heaven and Human Path, Grandmaster discusses Dao. Chapter 1180, Heaven and Human Path, Grandmaster discusses Dao. Translator. Atlas Studios. Editor. Atlas Studios. Some days ago. Longevity Heaven. This was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's rank 9 Grotto Heaven. Golden light enveloped the 4 desolations, an azure hue shone over the 8 extremities. 4 desolations and 8 extremities, these formed the terrain of Longevity Heaven, much like how Sovereign Immortal Aperture had the 9 heavens and 5 regions. And at the heart of the four desolations, at the center of the eight extremities, an immortal Gu house was shining in a profound white light, shooting towards the skies. It resonated with the entirety of longevity heaven, emitting a loud humming sound. Rank 8 Immortal Gu House, Calamity Luck Altar. 3 floors of round altars with multiple pillars holding it up, white jade railings and shining aurora. 8 Gu immortals in longevity heaven were standing at the center of the 9 corners of Calamity Luck Altar, doing their best to concentrate in controlling the operations of Calamity Luck Altar. At the center of Calamity Luck Altar, lightning was flashing, dragons were dancing, luck was steaming, as clouds enveloped the area. A Gu immortal's figure was seated on the ground, resisting the might of Calamity Luck Altar. Around him, there was a ring, it was flying around and surrounding his body, emitting light in 5 colors. 5 Elements Grandmaster, you might have rank 8 cultivation level, but inside the Calamity Luck Altar, you cannot turn this around. I urge you to surrender. When our 4 desolation immortals awaken, perhaps you might have a chance of survival. The leader of the 8 Gu immortals, Heaven Extremity, snorted and said. It turned out that the Gu immortal trapped in the center of Calamity Luck Altar was one of the 5 rank 8 existences in Northern Plains, 5 Elements Grandmaster. 5 Elements Grandmaster laughed loudly. The rank 8 Immortal Gu house is nothing impressive. You 8 extremities have combined forces to manipulate it, after suppressing me for this long, even using the might of longevity heaven to try and kill me, but now, you have not even broken through the first layer of my 5 elements ring. Heaven Extremity, you have the face to ask me to surrender? Heaven Extremity sneered, that is because you do not know the mystical power of Calamity Luck Altar. Its true ability is to reverse calamity in luck, turning calamity into luck, and luck into calamity. By interlinking calamity in luck, it becomes unceasing. This is the profundity of heaven and earth luck. As a mere lone cultivator, how can you possibly understand? Hearing the words heaven and earth luck, 5 Elements Grandmaster's smugness vanished, disappearing from his face. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable created luck path, his entire life's cultivation was summarized into 3 parts, self-luck, all living beings' luck, and heaven and earth luck. Among which, heaven and earth luck was created during Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's later years. It was grand and deep, deciphering the mysteries of heaven and earth. 5 Elements Grandmaster had stalled in his advancement now, he could not break through on his own, thus, he sneaked into longevity heaven and tried to steal the heaven and earth luck true inheritance. But to think that even though the 4 desolation immortals were asleep in longevity heaven, the defense still exceeded 5 Elements Grandmaster's expectations. After some fighting, 5 Elements Grandmaster was trapped inside Calamity Luck Altar, he was suppressed by the 8 extremities, unable to get free. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had 3 rank 8 Immortal Gu houses in his life. I've known about Calamity Luck Altar since long ago. But reversing calamity and luck, just what constitutes as reversing calamity and luck? 5 Elements Grandmaster thought for a moment before asking. The 8 extremities looked at each other, evidently surprised. But soon, they reacted. Heaven Extremity sighed internally, I have long since heard that 5 Elements Grandmaster has an incredible thirst towards knowledge. When he was mortal, he hid his identity and went around learning from different masters. After becoming a Gu Immortal, in order to obtain some experience and guidance from Gu Immortals, he was willing to be at their beck and call. This time, he actually asked his enemies for guidance inside the formation. He is truly passionate. However, an ignorant person fears nothing. If I inform him of the truth, I can strike a blow at his confidence and morale. Thinking of this, Heaven Extremity spoke, right now, the outcome has been decided, it is fine even if I tell you. Calamity Luck Altar was purposely left in longevity heaven by Ancestor Giant Sun, it was to defend longevity heaven. Reversing calamity and luck, we can turn calamities and tribulations into our own good luck. Right now, you came to invade longevity heaven, it was our human calamity. By using this Calamity Luck Altar, we can turn this difficulty into good luck, turning disaster into fortune. You will end up contributing to longevity heaven's eternal existence. Superb, brilliant. 5 Elements Grandmaster listened with shining eyes, he asked again, if a human calamity is like this, then what about earthly calamities and heavenly tribulations? We naturally reverse them as well. Heavenly tribulations and earthly calamities do not cause any damage, they instead become nourishment for our longevity. Heaven. Heaven Extremity said proudly. Five Elements Grandmaster had wide-opened eyes. Longevity Heaven is a rank 9 grotto heaven and has not absorbed any fragments of the immemorial 9 heavens. By relying on Calamity Luck Altar, it can go through all of its calamities and tribulations. Ha ha ha. You are already a rank 8 Gu immortal, but you do not even know about the origins of calamities and tribulations. Heaven Extremity laughed in disdain. Five Elements Grandmaster was not upset, he asked humbly, I hope you can teach me, Heaven Extremity. Heaven Extremity sensed Five Elements Grandmaster's earnest attitude and the disdain inside him vanished, turning into traces of admiration. He sighed, answering, why do humans have calamities and tribulations? The truth is, not just humans, but desolate beasts and desolate plants also have them. Like the thousand snakes haze tree, it faces the tribulation lightning. The origin of calamities and tribulations is in the principles of heaven. Heaven takes away surpluses while replenishing deficits, it emphasizes on balance and maintains this over cycles. Any existence which breaks the cycle of balance will face calamities and tribulations. But humans possess the greatest intelligence. Thus, we are more of a threat than beasts or plants. Gu immortals can manage their own small worlds, it draws wariness and attacks from heaven. What is calamity? What is luck? Heaven Extremity suddenly asked. Five Elements Grandmaster had a realization, he spoke immediately, I understand. Heaven takes away surpluses while replenishing deficits, the so-called calamity takes away surpluses, while luck replenishes deficits. Heaven Extremity raised his eyebrows, you answered correctly, that is exactly the case. And my ancestor Giant Sun was extremely talented, he created Luck Path. It targets the operations of the principles of heaven. Self-luck true inheritance replenishes oneself. All living beings' luck takes away others' surpluses to replenish oneself. While heaven and earth luck takes away heaven and earth's surpluses to replenish oneself. So that's it. Five Elements Grandmaster sighed deeply, no wonder Giant Sun Immortal Venerable did not enter Heavenly Court during his life. Heavenly Court followed the will of heaven, and upholded justice for heaven. Meanwhile, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck path usurped the authority of heaven and earth. When nature operated according to the principles of heaven, and an individual was determined to be too strong and breaking the balance, it would generate calamities and tribulations to suppress them. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck path avoided calamities and tribulations, and in the section of heaven and earth luck, it directly turned calamities and tribulations into fortuitous encounters. Heaven and earth suppresses me, it wants to take away my surpluses to replenish others' deficits, then I shall go ahead and take away heaven and earth's surpluses to replenish my own deficits. As the saying goes, there is nothing to say if there were opposing objectives. If heaven cannot use calamities and tribulations to destroy longevity heaven, it will use human calamities to destroy it. Heaven Extremity continued, and you, Five Elements Grandmaster, were subconsciously influenced by heaven's will, eventually becoming the human calamity that is here to destroy my longevity heaven. What a pity that you, a great rank 8, were influenced by heaven's will without even knowing it. Ha ha ha, I have learned much. Five Elements Grandmaster laughed grandly, even if it is heaven's will influencing me, so what? This is also my own intention. And I believe that man will triumph over heaven. No matter how vast heaven's will is, it cannot compare to the will of humans. Throughout the long history of humanity, we were so weak and feeble, pushed aside and humiliated everywhere, until we became the overlords of the world today, suppressing all variant humans and other life forms under our feet. The human race is the one that destroys the balance the most, but can heaven suppress us? There were 10 rank 9 venerables in human history, and countless Gu immortals among us. We roam heaven and earth, we can capture stars and overturn mountains and rivers, what can heaven do? Heaven Extremity laughed, the other 7 also expressed joy. This joy was the joy of meeting a companion, someone who shared similar understanding and aspirations as oneself. Heaven Extremity's laughter faded, it seems that you, Five Elements Grandmaster, have also been reading the legends of Ren Zhu frequently. Of course. The Legends of Ren Zhu contains Ren Zhu's human path true inheritance. Every Gu immortal who cultivates to a high level will try to benefit from it. Unfortunately, I do not have the wisdom and comprehension ability, I can only read the meaning that human path triumphs over heaven path. I had once heard that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable created self-luck and reached an impasse where he stalled. He only obtained an inspiration after reading the Legends of Ren Zhu, creating all living beings luck. After that, he went on to ascend to the Immortal Venerable Throne, before creating heaven and earth luck. 5 Elements Grandmaster continued. Heaven Extremity nodded, indeed. 5 Elements Grandmaster went on, I am a Northern Plainsman, born and bred here. Even though I do not have the Huang Jin bloodline, I admire Giant Sun Immortal Venerable greatly. Human path triumphs over heaven path, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's luck path is deeply using the essence of human path. The trend of the rule of humanity cannot be overturned, it cannot be defied. Even heaven is not its match. Do you all agree with me? Of course that is the case. Heaven Extremity replied arrogantly. 5 Elements Grandmaster smiled lightly, the trend of humanity is clear to everyone here. But the trend of Northern Plains, can you see it clearly? Heaven Extremity's expression changed, what are you trying to say? 5 Elements Grandmaster said calmly but loudly, right now, Northern Plains' trend in terms of humanity is that the demonic path is rising up while righteous path is shifting lower. 88 True Yang building collapsed, allowing many lone immortals and demonic path members to gain strength. Heavenly Lord by Zhu created by Zhu tribe personally, allowing the righteous path to have a different bloodline. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's hereditary monarchy was indeed a grand aspiration, but it was really quite restrictive. Northern Plains is not his to begin with. It belongs to all Northern Plainsmen. The death of a person is like the snuffing of a candle. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's influence has affected Northern Plains for so long, so many years. It is time to change. A load of nonsense. Heaven Extremity was furious, the other 7 extremities also started berating angrily. 5 Elements Grandmaster was very tranquil, you are angry and furious, that is because of the fear in your hearts. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, Huang Jin tribes, they have dominated Northern Plains, ruling over it, it is starting to decline now. Just like the 10 great ancient sects in Central Continent, they seem strong, but they are rotten on the inside, there are many internal conflicts and useless members. What about the lone immortals and demonic cultivators? Look at Northern Plains rank 8 Gu immortals, how many have Huang Jin bloodline? Old Ancestor Shui who is demonic path, I am a lone immortal, Heavenly Lord by Zhu turned from lone to righteous path, Prince Feng Xian is a member of Gong tribe, but he is not of Huang Jin bloodline. Only Yao Huang alone is holding up the Huang Jin tribe's reputation. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know in the report chapter so we can fix it as soon as possible.